Claudia was a woman of delicate beauty, with long ash-blonde hair that fell to her shoulders and deep, gentle brown eyes. She had a natural grace that shone through in every gesture, from the way she walked to the way she smiled at the children at the Istituto Cuore Aperto, the place where she spent many hours of the day. Every step she took seemed to instill tranquility. Every smile brought a new light into the hearts of those children who had already seen too much pain in their short lives. Claudia's desire to help those in need had grown over time, deeply rooted in her heart. Working at the orphanage gave her a sense of fulfillment that no other activity had ever offered her. Before continuing, subscribe to our channel and activate the bell. She knew she was lucky, not only because she had the opportunity to make a difference, but also because she didn't have to worry about money. Her husband, Leonardo, was a successful and respected man, a criminal defense attorney with a solid reputation. He was in his 40s, with dark brown hair and brown eyes that exuded confidence. Despite his demanding and often stressful job, Leonardo never failed to show his love for Claudia, supporting her in all her choices, even the most challenging ones. On a beautiful spring morning, Claudia was walking through the corridors of the Istituto Cuore Aperto in the company of Marta, the director. The building, with its red brick walls, was decorated with colorful murals depicting scenes of joy and hope. The large garden, with its colorful flowers and games, was full of children running carefree. The atmosphere was pervaded by a warm and reassuring light. The spring sun made every corner of the courtyard shine, as if life for those little ones could really be bright and full of hope. "Claudia, you can't imagine how precious your presence is here," said Marta, a 60-year-old woman with a rigorous personality but a heart of gold. "Every day I see the children's progress thanks to you. Your dedication makes a big difference." Claudia smiled as she watched the children busy drawing. One of them, a little girl named Aurora, was drawing a large, colorful flower. Claudia came closer to look at the drawing better, seeing in the little girl's features a hope that went beyond the paper. "You know, Marta," Claudia replied, "every day I feel more and more connected to these children. Their stories touch me deeply." She paused, looking at Aurora. Like little Aurora, for example. She always hopes to have a family with a big garden. She's such a sweet little girl. Claudia often thought about how fragile hope was in those children, and how every gesture, every word could fuel or extinguish it. Marta nodded, but her face took on a more serious expression. "And then there's Luca. He'll be arriving today. He's 8 years old and comes from an institution that had to close. His story is complex, and he's experienced many difficulties. I hope he finally finds some peace here." The director's tone became more concerned. "He's a special child, you know, but he needs stability, and it's not easy to find a family that can give him that." Claudia felt a tingle of curiosity. "Where does he come from?" she asked. "From a distant city," Marta answered. "He's been through several temporary families, but he's never been adopted. He's a lively child, but his energy sometimes intimidates adoptive parents." Marta seemed aware of the weight of those words, of how the vivacity of a child, which should be a blessing, could instead push away those who seek a calmer presence. Claudia nodded, her heart heavy. Later that morning, a car stopped in front of the institute. A social worker was accompanying a child with red, curly hair, with deep, attentive eyes. Little Luca looked shy and cautious, like someone who has known too much pain and too many departures. Claudia watched him from afar. Something in his appearance struck her deeply. Luca bore an uncanny resemblance to Leonardo, but she decided to keep that thought to herself, at least for now. She approached the child with a warm smile. "Hi, Luca," she said softly. "I'm Claudia. I come here every day to help you with your homework. You'll see, we'll have fun together." Luca looked at her with a mixture of curiosity and shyness, but without letting himself go completely. He seemed to be evaluating every movement, every word, as if he had learned not to trust right away, to protect his heart from further disappointments. Marta took his hand and led him down the halls, showing him his new room. "You'll be safe here," Marta told him with a reassuring smile. "You'll have everything you need, and Claudia will be here every day to help you." Over the next few days, Claudia found herself increasingly drawn to Luca's presence. The child, despite his initial shyness, had settled in quickly. He played with the other children in the garden, and his contagious energy made him immediately popular. Luca's every laugh, his every jump, seemed to fill the garden with life. But every time Claudia looked at him, she felt an unsettling familiarity. One afternoon, while Luca was playing in the yard, Claudia noticed that the boy was lifting his shirt slightly to wipe away the sweat. It was then that she saw something that left her breathless. A small star-shaped mark on his right side. Claudia's heart raced. Leonardo also had the same mark in the same exact spot. That little coincidence troubled her deeply, as if there was a hidden story in that star, an invisible bond that she couldn't yet understand. When she got home, she told Leonardo what had happened. "It's just a coincidence," he said with his usual pragmatism. But Claudia couldn't get rid of that thought. The resemblance, the sign, everything seemed too strange to be just a coincidence. Inside himself, he felt that there was something more, something that went beyond what was visible. Leonardo, as skeptical as he was, decided to visit the orphanage and meet Luca. When he finally saw him, his disbelief turned to amazement. The child resembled him in an uncanny way. Marta, who had initially taken Claudia's insinuations lightly, couldn't help but notice the resemblance. "Good heavens," Marta exclaimed. "You really do look like two peas in a pod." Claudia nodded, finally relieved that someone else noticed what she had seen since day one. Leonardo, troubled, decided to start some research. Thanks to an old friend, he was able to discover a shocking truth. Luca was the son of Giacomo, Leonardo's twin brother. Giacomo had been given up for adoption at birth, a secret that no one had ever revealed to Leonardo. When Leonardo and Giacomo finally met, the emotions were overwhelming. The two brothers, separated at birth, hugged each other without speaking, with tears in their eyes. But Giacomo did not want to meet Luca. He had a new family and did not want to jeopardize what he had built. His eyes were full of regret, but his decision seemed immovable. Claudia and Leonardo, shocked by Giacomo's decision, decided to do something big for themselves. They adopted Luca, promising him all the love and stability he had never had. That child who looked so much like Leonardo became their son, filling the void they had in their hearts after the loss of their first child. Luca, with his deep eyes and his still fragile heart, finally found a family that loved him unconditionally. The family that had formed was different from the one Claudia and Leonardo had imagined in their dreams, but it was perfect the way it was. Did you like this story? Leave a comment below. Thanks for watching the video till the end, and see you next story.